The hardest battles gay men fight aren't out in the world. They're the silent ones we wage against ourselves. Hey gay men, welcome back. I'm Alexander Sterling. In today's video, I'm exposing 6 truths about internalized homophobia you may not be ready to hear, but desperately need to. Number 1, you didn't create your shame, but you keep carrying it. Internalized homophobia begins outside of you. As a child, you didn't ask to be taught that your love or attraction was wrong. The fear and disgust you may feel toward parts of yourself were planted by family systems, cultural messages, religion, or peers. That means the shame isn't your fault. But as an adult, the sad reality is that you are the one now reinforcing it. Every time you silence yourself in conversations, hide relationships, or punish yourself with harsh talk, you keep alive beliefs that were never truly yours. Many gay men struggle with the idea that their pain has become self-maintaining. It can feel unfair, and it is unfair. But healing requires recognizing this loop. You didn't choose the wound, but you are the one who chooses whether to reopen it every day or start tending to it. Compassion for yourself doesn't mean ignoring the harm others caused. It means acknowledging you're no longer powerless to it. Number 2, masculinity isn't proof of worth. A lot of gay men grow up learning, explicitly or implicitly, that to be man enough is to be accepted, safe, and lovable. For some, that becomes an obsession with the gym, body image, or presenting as straight acting. For others, it becomes a rejection of anything coded as feminine, sometimes even to the point of shaming or excluding other gay men. What's happening here is internalized homophobia masquerading as self-improvement. You're trying to buy safety and love by performing a narrow version of masculinity. But masculinity is not a certificate of value, and it's not a shield from shame. Even if you pass as masculine, you'll never trick yourself into feeling whole if part of you believes your natural self is unworthy. True self-acceptance means letting go of performance as your ticket to belonging, and instead leaning into the idea that your softness, your creativity, your quirks, your tenderness, all of that is what makes you worthy. The work is not about rejecting masculinity, but about realizing you don't need to use it as a mask to prove you deserve love. Number 3, sexual freedom doesn't equal emotional healing. Exploring your sexuality is a vital part of reclaiming what society may have denied you. Experimenting with dating, hookup culture, or physical intimacy can feel like liberation after years of hiding. And it can be liberating. But here's the hard truth. If you're using sex as a way to outrun shame, rejection, or loneliness, it won't heal you. It will only distract you temporarily. The emptiness afterward is often a signal that something deeper needs attention. That doesn't mean sex is wrong or unhealthy. It means the intention behind it matters. When sex is driven by curiosity, joy, or connection, it nourishes. When it's driven by the need to feel valuable or distract from pain, it can deepen the wound you're avoiding. I'm not asking you to shame sexual exploration, but to slow down enough to ask, am I chasing affirmation, or am I connecting authentically? Am I numbing, or am I nourishing? Sexual freedom is a powerful right, but it doesn't replace the emotional freedom that comes from facing shame head on. Number 4, you may be perpetuating the rejection you once feared. Think about the subtle, or not so subtle ways gay men sometimes talk about each other. No femmes, no fats, too campy, too old. These judgments aren't just preferences. They are often internalized homophobia projected outward. The very qualities we reject in others are usually the ones we were taught to fear in ourselves. If you grew up terrified of being called too girly, you may now recoil from men who are effeminate. If you feared aging would make you invisible, you may reject older men. This is the cycle. The rejection you most dreaded as a child becomes the rejection you pass along as an adult. It keeps you trapped in the same painful system. This isn't about blame. It's about awareness. Every time you cut off another man for being too much of something, you're reinforcing the belief that you yourself are only conditionally lovable. Healing begins with recognizing that your judgments are actually mirrors of your own wounds. When you soften towards others, you also soften towards yourself. Number 5, you're allowed to grieve the childhood you didn't have. Many gay men try to push past their history by saying, "That's just how it was," or "I turned out fine." But part of internalized homophobia is the quiet grief of what you never got to experience. The innocence of having your first crush without fear. The joy of telling your friends about it. The safety of being seen and accepted as you are. That loss is real. And grief that isn't acknowledged doesn't disappear. It hardens into bitterness, cynicism, or the pressure to overachieve. Giving yourself permission to mourn that childhood doesn't mean wallowing. It means telling the truth. Something was taken from me. By naming that loss, you create space to heal rather than carrying it silently as resentment. This can manifest in a lot of different ways. It can look like speaking to your younger self, writing letters you never got to send, or even allowing tears for the boy who had to grow up too quickly. Grieving doesn't weaken you. It liberates you from carrying a weight you were never meant to carry alone. Number 6, healing doesn't mean becoming proud overnight. It means becoming real. There's often an expectation in queer culture that you must move from shame to pride in a straight line. One day you hate yourself, the next you march in parades covered in glitter. But for many gay men, that leap feels inauthentic or even impossible. Pride is not a mask you can slap over shame. It's the slow, sometimes messy process of becoming real with yourself. Real means noticing when shame drives your choices. Real means being honest in relationships even when you fear rejection. Real means choosing compassion over perfectionism. Pride eventually grows out of these small acts of truth-telling, not as a performance, but as a byproduct of living honestly. Healing doesn't require you to love yourself loudly before you're ready. It requires you to stop abandoning yourself quietly. Over time, authenticity feels less like work and more like home. And that's when pride begins to feel natural, because it's no longer a role you're playing. It's who you've become. At the end of the day, healing internalized homophobia isn't about becoming someone new. It's about finally giving yourself permission to be who you've been all along. Thanks for watching. If you're a gay man and these conversations speak to you, go ahead and hit subscribe. I post new videos every week about the things we go through: love, identity, healing, and everything in between. I'd love to have you be part of this community. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.